Jeffrey's about to ask his crush Jessica out to the prom. Are you sure you're ready for this, Jeffrey? Maybe you should watch another dating advice video. Okay, he's doing it. Wait, what is he doing? Why is he doing that weird dance? Jeffrey, no, you've scared her away. What did you say to her, Jeffrey? Unfortunately, now young Jeffrey is super upset. He's experienced failure and hardship in life, but he doesn't know how to overcome it. Adonis. Adonis is the world's biggest failure? It may seem odd that Adonis is the world's biggest failure, but that also means that he is the world's biggest success. For the wise old Adonis knows that experimenting, trying new things and failing is just one step on the journey to greatness. And then there's you. You got onto self-improvement, but you've been struggling to get super consistent in the habits, haven't you? But you know what? You have been trying. You are making so much more progress now than you were 6 months ago, and that is a success, even though the success is littered with failures. That's how everyone's success looks like. Let me tell you my story. I was just flying back home from Bali just a few days ago. I was in the business class Emirates flight. And I wouldn't usually mention like, oh, hey, look at me, I've got business class flights. But I've been taking them just like as a normal thing now in the last like year or so of my business doing really well. And this was a special time because I also had my girlfriend and also my cameraman with me, both on business class, paid for by me. And I'm reading this book on business. It's from this podcaster businessman called Stephen Bartlett. And the book ends up having a chapter about the importance of failures. And one specific advice in this really hit me. It said, you should double your failure rates. It said in this book that the teams, the companies that double their failure rate end up becoming so much more successful, because when you're experiencing a failure, it basically means that you tried. What's way worse than failing is not trying. And so I'm reading all this whilst like lying back in the nice comfy chair and stuff and thinking, fuck me, like this one idea has just paid for everyone's flight. I'm going to go home and I'm going to go and fail a bunch of stuff. And you might have seen me on this channel. You're seeing me go through this rapid experimental phase where we're swapping out thumbnails all the time. We're trying a new style of titles and a new channel banner. We're trying all these different things and many of them are failing. I am here openly telling you right now, you are publicly seeing me fail with a certain thumbnail, fail with a certain kind of video, fail with like the setup that I had. I was just in the podcast studio with the mic and my audience didn't like that. Failure. And I guarantee, mark my words, it's the last day of October right now. Before December, we will hit a point of momentum where we're getting the most subscribers on this channel that we have all year. Before December, because of this rate of failure that we are going in, you'll see like another blow up on my channel happen. The lesson of this story is that even successful businessmen are going out there and failing, new products, new ideas, failing. But understanding that that is how we achieve success, because that's how we find the thing that we can go all in on. Unfortunately, school didn't prepare you for this. Because what happened in school when you failed? You failed in the test or the exam, some kind of paper that we did. You failed, and that was just, in a vacuum, a bad thing. You're bad. Here's like a red sort of letter on your piece of work. You're going to go home, tell your parents. They're going to shout at you. They're going to be upset at you. Your teacher's annoyed at you. You feel bad. In school, failure was just a bad thing, wasn't it? And so that kind of has created your beliefs to believe that this is what life is like. Failure is a bad thing. But it's only when you get out of school, and also in my opinion, when you get out of the 9-to-5 rat race, especially when you become an entrepreneur, that's when you realize failure is so valuable. You know, there's so many young guys who want to start their own businesses, and the number one place that they get stuck at, which I speak to so many guys like this, is choosing which business model to get into. They're trying this one business model, but they're not sure if they should be YouTubers, and they're not sure if they should get into like doing agency, but they don't even understand what the fucking agency means. And there's copywriting, and there's Amazon FBA, and there's e-commerce, there's all these different ones. And so everyone's like just kind of trying to decide which one to get into, and no one really knows at this point. The reason why a lot of young guys aren't making any progress in business is because they're afraid of failing. You know, I started like 4 or 5 businesses before this one. There was a period of my life before I ever posted videos, before you knew me, where I was really struggling. I was trying dropshipping. I was trying reselling clothes on eBay. I tried to become a rapper. I tried to become a fitness influencer. I tried and failed on so many of these things. And you know, that hurt my ego in some ways. You can imagine, right? Imagine I just graduated from university. I should be at the peak of my life, but I didn't want to just have like a normal job. So I was trying all these online businesses, whereas everyone I knew was like getting into like careers. And so I was like the guy who was making the least amount of money, who was still a degenerate, who was still really young and basically unemployed. And yet those failures led me to going all in on YouTube. And now I've become a very successful businessman in only 3 years of being in business. And in this year of 2023, we've made a lot of money. We've made over $1 million in revenue this year. I would not be here today at this huge point of success for a guy like of my experience and my age if I didn't just go and experience those failures.
By the way, bro, you're consuming all of these educational videos, which is awesome. But let's be more serious. There is a war on masculinity, and for us to win this war, we need you to join our gang. I'm welcoming you to the Adonis Gang. Come join your brotherhood by clicking the top link in the description right now and watching that welcome video after you finish watching this one.
That if I listened more to the narrative of school, of, you know, being scared of failures and not wanting to get that like negative bad mark, that I would have played it safe and ended up getting some normal career, and I would have been a nobody. Like, if you think about everything that you've known about me personally, and also everything that you've benefited from watching my videos, imagine if this just didn't exist because I was scared of failure. Imagine how untouched the world would be by that. And now, think of the same thing with you. If you have this fear of failure that's stopping you to really do your real work, to really give your gift, it would be the same effect where the world will never actually see you. And I just want to give a clarification here, because I've just realized something, you know. In a lot of the masculine, spiritual resources that I've learned from, so basically, like, what do spiritual people say about masculinity? One of the most important things that they say is that you've got to be able to penetrate your fears, that your fear is actually a really sharp definition of who you are. So in other words, when we feel fear for something, usually that kind of means that we might need to do that thing. And of course, don't be stupid. Like, oh, so Hamza's telling me that, okay, so if I'm scared of that group of guys that have got knives, I should go. Obviously, don't be stupid. But in terms of like, there's a lot of fear for example, of you dropping out and for you pursuing a business. That could be the thing that's actually right for you to do. It might not be, and it's for you to decide as a young man, but it could be. And in general, in my own experience, when I'm really scared to do something which would probably have like some kind of positive impact on me and the world, but I fear what other people would say, I fear potentially failing, I fear making mistakes, when I actually take that leap of faith, the biggest periods of growth of my life have happened. And also, I want to break down that phrase as well, fear of failure. Because if you fear failure right now, you fear potentially failing something that you're considering, like, for example, getting into business. I actually think that's completely normal, you know. I don't think that we're not supposed to have that fear. You see, courage is the skill of feeling fear, but doing the thing anyway. It's hard because the fear needs to be there for you to be courageous. So don't think to yourself, you know, when there's the next time you're feeling the fear of failing and you're thinking, oh, no, I can't do it because, you know, I'm scared of failing. No, you'll specifically be able to be courageous and to penetrate through this fear when you feel the fear. You need to feel the fear as this kind of compass to show you into which direction you can go to be more of a courageous masculine man. And of course, it's scary. That's the point. That's where the men are built. Men aren't built in the safe places. Men aren't built in the comfortable certainty of the education system or anything like that. Men are built in the uncertainty that we have to penetrate, and so we can understand ourselves and our capabilities. And you want to know something that might sound fake and you might not believe me? I've just saw a study today that has shown that your grades in school don't even correlate with your future income. This might seem too hard to believe, but your grades that you're getting right now don't even correlate to how much money you'll be making in the future. You know what correlates more with how much money you'll make in the future? What your mental health is like now. How mentally healthy you are, how present and grateful you are, how many friends you have, how strong social connection you have. At this age that you're at right now, those are actually the things that will predict your future state. Those are actually the things that will predict your future wealth. It's crazy when you actually look into this that young guys are so scared of getting like this bad grade, when actually getting a bad grade does not predict anything about your future. I got so many bad grades. I basically shouldn't have even passed university. Basically, my university gave me a pity pass, and it was called a compensatory pass. Basically, because I showed up to lectures, enough lectures, and I got 35% at the end of the year, which is less than a pass. Passes are 40%, and they just bumped me up to 40%, so I just basically got the degree, right? So I got as low as you possibly could do as a grade. And now this is going to seem like a massive boast, but everyone who was in my lecture hall, all 100 students, including the professor, all of them make less money than I do. All of them put together. Grades don't have any kind of link to how much money you'll be making in the future, honestly. And so we're so scared of getting this poor grade back when there's guys like me who probably got worse grades than you, who are actually doing really well. Because it's actually other things that are so much more important, but it doesn't sound right to say that. It really is your mental health. It is your character. It's your ability to feel this fear, but to penetrate through it and to do the thing that you know that is right for you. Now, of course, you're a young guy, and so it's too much, for you to consider, dropping out, especially if your parents don't agree with that. And I'm not going to tell you, drop out, because you should listen to the wise people in your life. But as a young man, you are starting to take responsibility for your life. And if you are so certain that school isn't setting you up for the kind of person you need to be, well, then it is your duty to start self-educating yourself. This is why the only things that I sell as a YouTuber are basically education for the young guys who really want to invest into it. And I'm very proud of that I have online communities where I upload education and courses and everything. The main one that I have is Adonis School, and it's this sort of medium ticket $500 one. And the idea is that the guys are invested into it, and they're now getting a different form of education instead of the normal one that you get in the school system. And I'm very proud to have that as something that I've created and that I'm leading. Because inside of my own education system, I'm telling the young guys in there to go and double their failure rate because of how much it's served me. If you did want to join Adonis School, it's in one of the links in the description. There's no pressure, but if you're interested in joining this sort of educational community of young guys on self-improvements, and you really want to learn from someone who's kind of proven himself more to get results in the real world instead of your professors who just aren't really preparing you for the real world, you can join, and it'd be awesome to have you in there. Click and watch this video right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.